Good morning, dear students. Today we will discuss the next topic in the lesson, structure of atom. Today we are going to discuss the topics spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, Bohr's model of atom and Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom. In previous class we have studied about the atom, how it is discovered, and the subatomic particles, electrons and protons, how they were discovered. In today's class we will discuss about the discovery of neutrons. Neutrons were discovered by James Chadwick, and he is a famous scientist and he got Nobel Prize. This is the Bohr's proposed atomic model. According to this model, we have learned that some nucleus it is present in the center of the atom. That nucleus it is having positive charge because of the presence of protons, and the negatively charged particles that are called electrons, they will revolve around the nucleus in particular shells or orbits. So the mass of the atom that is totally located at the center of the nucleus. So we can say that the mass of the any atom that is depends on the nucleus. So the experiments goes on, and James Chadwick he compared the two nucleus of hydrogen and helium. See here. So based on the J.J. Thomson experiments, we can conclude that mass of the helium is equal to twice the mass of the hydrogen, because helium consists of 2 protons, so hydrogen is 1 proton, so it should be double the mass. But practically, what James Chadwick observed, mass of the helium is 4 times the mass of the hydrogen. What is the reason? Theoretically, we concluded that twice it should be, but practically we observed that 4 times it is. What is the reason for extra mass? Later, James Chadwick, he continued his experiments. Let us see what he concluded and what he found out. James Chadwick, he conducted experiments and they find out the reason behind the extra mass is neutral particle present in the nucleus along with the proton. So, one more particle it is present. James Chadwick conducted experiment by projecting an alpha particle on beryllium nucleus. What he has done? He has conducted an experiment on beryllium nucleus. He passed an alpha particle through beryllium nucleus. Alpha particle is positively charged particle. Then he observed that a particle was released, which he named as neutron. See here, this is the helium nucleus. So James Chadwick concluded that apart from these protons, 2 protons, in the nucleus of the helium, 2 more neutrally charged particles are there. This is the reason for the mass, extra mass of the helium. Then the particles charge, what it is, he conducted experiments to check the charge of the neutron, and finally he found that neutron does not have any charge, but it contains mass. What he has done, the single particle came out from his experiment. He took that particle and he passes the particle through a positively charged sheet, because he want to check the charge of that neutral particle. So he passes this particle through a positively charged sheet. What he expected, that if it is a positively charged one, it has to repel. If it is a negatively charged, it has to attract towards the positively charged. But the particle passes through the sheet and simply came out. It does not repel or attract. Then he concluded that the newly discovered particle that named as neutron, that is neutrally charged. There is no charge at all. So we can conclude that in the atom, along with the protons, the nucleus, 2 more, in the helium nucleus if we compare, 2 more particles are there, those are neutrons. So now all the 3 subatomic particles are discovered in an atom. The nucleus, it consists of protons and neutrons, whereas electrons, negatively charged, it revolves around the nucleus in a particular shells or orbits. So here neutron means it is neutral, there is no charge at all. So in any atom, number of neutrons equal to number of protons. Now we got the answer that mass of the helium is Y 4 times to the mass of the hydrogen because of the presence of the extra two neutrons. Extra particles, those are neutrons. Now we know that about the atom and nucleus of the atom and the subatomic particles like electron, proton, neutron, where they are located in the atom. See here, around the nucleus, shells or orbits are there. In these orbits, electrons revolve around the nucleus, and these shells named as KLMN, and these are energy levels 1, 2, 3, 4. So here, the energy of each orbit increases with increase in the distance of orbit from the nucleus. So here, K shell, it is very near to the nucleus, so it is having less energy. L is little bit far away from the nucleus, and when compared with N, it is more away from the nucleus. So that is the energy is depends on the distance between the nucleus to the orbit. When electron jumps from the lower energy state to higher energy state, it absorbs energy. In the same way, electron emits energy if it jumps from the higher to lower energy state. See here, K shell, that is n is equal to 1, energy level n is equal to 1 means K shell. It is having lower energy when compared with N. N, it is far away from the nucleus where n is equal to 4, that is N shell. It consists of higher energy. So distance means energy levels also vary. If an electron jumps from K shell to L shell, what will happen here? Because it is going from lower to higher, then what will happen? The energy absorbs the energy. The electron absorbs the energy and it jumps to the higher energy. In case if an electron jumps from higher energy, that means N to M, what will happen here? It releases or emits energy. We know that emission or absorption takes place when an electron either moves to higher energy state or come back to the lower energy state. Niels Bohr was able to explain the atomic spectrum of hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. Niels Bohr is the first and foremost person who explained the atomic spectrum. He explained the hydrogen atoms atomic spectrum, that is called line spectrum. What is called spectrum? Let us discuss in detail about the spectrum. Just now we have studied that Niels Bohr explained the hydrogen atom in terms of its atomic spectrum. Then what do you mean by atomic spectrum? How it helps us to understand the atomic structure? Let us know in detail about the spectrum. Usually in the sky, after the rain has stopped, we can observe the rainbow. Is it a natural spectrum? Yes, we know this one. See here, what are the colors we are having in this rainbow? We know it is a VIBGYOR. 7 colors present in it: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Mostly in this VIBGYOR, if you all the 7 colors, even though the 7 colors appear, but the few colors observes very brightly. We can observe them and we can easily identify them. What is called dispersion? Let us see how the phenomena of rainbow happen. Do you know? The physical science is there behind this one. A rainbow is a natural spectrum appearing in the sky just after a rain shower. After the rain has stopped, the rainbow, usually we will observe the rainbow. It is because it is caused by dispersion of sunlight by tiny water droplets present in atmosphere. Even the rain has stopped, tiny particles will appear in the atmosphere. These particles act as small prisms. These water droplets act as small prisms, and the white light passes through these droplets, will disperse the light, and the light appears, we can see, in the form of VIBGYOR. So the phenomenon occurring here, it is called dispersion. The definition, it is splitting of light into colors, VIBGYOR colors, 7 colors. This is called dispersion. Let us in detail discuss about the nature of the light. Let us discuss about the nature of light. Observe this picture. If we create a disturbance in a calm pond or a river, we can observe these ripples. That means the water it is transmitting in the form of wave. Similarly, sound also. When we create sound by clapping our hands, the sound travels in the form of waves. Even if we create a electric discharge, that means we can observe that the light also travels in the form of electromagnetic waves. So, but the light has dual nature, that means both particle nature and wave nature. But particles are very minute, so the mass of the particle it is negligible. So we can consider that the light travels in the form of wave. That means light has wave nature. Pictorially that we can see the light how it is travels just like a wave. Wave means we know that crust and troughs are there, and the distance between the two successive crusts is called wavelength, or the distance between two successive trough is called wavelength. See here, light is considered as an electromagnetic wave according to wave theory. So what will happen here? The electromagnetic waves are produced when electric charge vibrates. That means if an electric charge moves back and front, back and forth, then the electromagnetic waves produced. Just now we have seen that what is electromagnetic wave. Vibrating in the electric field creates the electromagnetic wave. A vibrating electric charge causes change in the electric field. So the change in the electric field creates a changing in the magnetic field. This electric field and magnetic field both are perpendicular to each other. Listen carefully. Both the fields created are perpendicular to each other and at right angles to the direction of the propagation of the wave. That means these electric field and magnetic both are perpendicular and made a right angle. Just observe this picture. This is the propagation of the wave and it is moving forward. So observe here, magnetic field is along with the propagation of the wave, whereas electric field is perpendicular to that of the propagation of the wave. And so here clearly in this picture you can observe magnetic field and electric field are perpendicular to each other. So here energy, electromagnetic energy is characterized by wavelength lambda and frequency nu. So we can write express in like E electromagnetic energy and wavelength lambda and frequency in terms of C is equal to lambda into nu. So we know that here C is the velocity of the light and nu is the frequency and lambda is the wavelength. Visible light is an electromagnetic wave and the speed of the light, that is C. The value of the speed of the light or velocity of the light is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter and second inverse or second to the power of minus 1. So what we can see through our naked eye. That means the human beings, what we can see the visible light, that is the spectrum or else VIBGYOR, the colors in the VIBGYOR, that is the visible light, is an electromagnetic wave. That waves, that colors and the VIBGYOR, all these are electromagnetic waves. That is visible light. The visible light is nothing but what we can see through our naked eye. So here we have seen that electromagnetic wave and how these magnetic field and electric field are perpendicular to each other, and the velocity of the light and the relation between wavelength, frequency and velocity of light. We have seen what is electromagnetic wave and let us see what is the spectrum. Electromagnetic waves have wide range of frequencies. This entire range of frequencies is known as electromagnetic spectrum. That means the bunch of the frequencies produced by the electromagnetic wave is called electromagnetic spectrum. What does the electromagnetic spectrum consist of? What kind of waves are there? What kind of frequencies are there? See here, from 10 to the power of minus 12. For cosmic rays, it is 10 to the power of minus 12 frequency, and here 10 to the power of 3 is for broadcast band. So from left to right, cosmic rays, in between gamma rays also will be there, and X-rays, ultraviolet rays, and infrared rays, and microwaves, and radar, and radio waves, and broadcast band are there. So this side it is shorter wavelength, and this right side it is longer wavelengths. In between these two, one region it is there, one band of colors is there, from the range of 400 nanometers to 700 nanometer frequency it is there. These we can see with our human naked eye. So this is the electromagnetic spectrum. In detail, let us see one more picture to understand how the frequencies are there. See here, for cosmic rays, here see how the wavelength it is shorter wavelength, and while moving towards the right side, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, even more increasing wavelength it is there, and infrared rays, radar waves, radio waves, and a broadcast band, it is much more wavelength. That means greater wavelength it is there. But the energies, if we compare the wavelength and the energy, it is quite opposite. See here, for gamma rays, wavelength is less, so energy it is more. For radio waves and radar waves, wavelength it is high wavelength, so in energy it is less energy. See here how the wavelength it is in wavelength and energy it is in opposite direction. If the wavelength it is increasing from gamma rays to radio waves, the energy it is decreases. So both are opposite. In between these ultraviolet rays and infrared rays, one band of frequency it is there from 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. That is the visible region, that is visible light. That means visible light is nothing but we can see through our human naked eye. Through our eyes we can directly see the range of the frequencies. This is called visible light. Got it? Okay. The familiar example of the visible spectrum in the nature is the formation of a rainbow. The starting itself we have discussed about the rainbow. As we can see directly the rainbow, that is only the visible region. That's why we can see through our eyes. Remaining all the rays whatever present in our nature around us, we cannot see them through our naked eye. This is about electromagnetic spectrum. Okay. Let us see one more theory, that is Max Planck quantum theory. He is Max Planck, and in 1901 Max Planck initiated quantum physics by presenting his quantum theory, and he awarded Nobel Prize in the year of 1918 for his contributions in the quantum mechanics, that is quantum physics. This theory revolutionized human understanding of atomic and subatomic particles. What is the reason for studying all these theories is for the better understanding of atomic and subatomic particles, how the atom it is behaving, and the subatomic particles like electrons, protons and neutrons are behaving in an atom. He explained about black body radiation, and he explained about absorption and emission of electromagnetic radiation. What is black body? Black body is having a property that if an electromagnetic energy, an electromagnetic wave, it is passing through a black body, means the total absorbed energy is completely radiates rather than reflecting or deflecting. The complete energy, the absorbed energy will radiates from the black body. That is about the black body, and he explained through his experiments about this black body radiation. And he explained about absorption and emission of electromagnetic radiation. We have seen that the Bose model of atom, if an electron jumps from the either higher energy state to the lower energy state, the emission and absorption of energy takes place here. For jumping to the higher energy state, it requires energy, that means it absorbs energy. And if it is jumps from the higher energy state to lower energy state, it releases energy, that means it emits energy. So the emission and absorption of electromagnetic radiation, the Max Planck explained. Planck's statement, what it explains, atoms or molecules could emit or absorb energy. Just now we have discussed. So they emit or absorb energy, but in the form of only in discrete quantities, but not in a continuous manner. The energy is also in the form of discrete quantities, that means certain quantities, certain values, but not continuous. If it jumps, or that means if it emits or absorbs, that quantity of energy is discrete, in discrete manner, but not continuous. It should not be like, it should not continuously, it should not absorb, or continuously it should not emit the energies. For certain range only, for certain amount only, it emits or absorbs. It is important, remember that one. These kind of small pockets of energies is called quantum. The energy will be in the form of small packets. These small packets of energies are called quantum. So after that, Max Planck established a relation between the energy and the frequency of radiation, that is represented as E is equal to h nu, where in this equation E is the energy and h is the Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of radiation. The Planck's constant value, it is 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules and seconds. And in terms of velocity of light, we can write that E is equal to hc by lambda, where we know that nu is equal to c by lambda. Scientists found that each element emits its own characteristic color. So after these kind experiments, after Max Planck constant and Max explained that emission and absorption spectra, scientists found that each and every element, it is different from its colors. So these colors corresponds to certain discrete wavelengths of light. Different colors means nothing but different wavelengths. This is called the line spectra. So the lines in atomic spectra can be used to identify the unknown atoms, just like fingerprints are used to identify the people. We know that no two persons have the same kind of fingerprints, just like that no two element is not having the same line spectra. These lines in the atomic spectra, it is very much useful for us to find out the atoms. So this is the reason behind the structure of atom, why we have to study about the spectrum and nature of light and electromagnetic wave and electromagnetic spectrum. And Max Planck theory. Max Planck theory explains as emission and absorption spectrum. So all these we should know to study about an element, how it is emitting a color spectra, that is line spectra. So because of this only we have studied all this. This is the Bose model of hydrogen atom. Niels Bohr, he is the first person who proposed that electrons in an atom occupy stationary orbits or fixed energy at different distances from the nucleus. We know that one. Observe this picture. From the center of the nucleus, the KLMN shells are at different and distance places are there. From nucleus K shell, it is near, that means a very less distance. So it is having lowest energy, that means less energy shell or lowest energy shell, and N is a little bit far away from the nucleus, it is highest energy shell. The energies of an electron in an atom have certain values. We have studied that Planck's quantum theory. The energies are quantized and these are in the form of small packets. These values are discrete values, not continuous values. So certain values are there, those are E1, E2, E3 and so on. We can see in the picture also. That is, the energy is quantized. We have studied in the Planck's quantum theory. The possible values of energy are called energy levels. So if the first energy level n is equal to 1 means that is K shell, n is equal to 2 means L shell, and so on. The state corresponding to these energies are called stationary state or stationary orbits. Finally, what we have concluded through Bohr's model of hydrogen atom, around the nucleus the electrons are revolving and in the stationary orbits, that means fixed orbits. These energies are quantized, and this electron, it does not create any energy. Those are fixed orbits here. Let us see the Bohr's model. And he conducted an experiment by taking the gas discharge tube containing the hydrogen, and he passes that light through the prism, and he observed here, see here, the emission line spectra. See here, the violet, blue, green and red, these are all appeared in the form of lines. So we can see this one because this frequency range, it is visible region, in the visible region. So through our eyes we can see. So by conducting this experiment, Bose, he explained the hydrogen atom, how it emits the line spectra. He is the first person and he got the Nobel Prize also. So Bohr's model gives us and tells us the line spectra of hydrogen atom. Even though Bohr explained the hydrogen atom in the form of line spectra, even though it is a successful model as far as line spectra of hydrogen atom is concerned, but the line spectra of hydrogen atom when observed through a high resolution spectroscope appear as group of finer lines. For our naked eye, it is appearing as a single line. But when it is observed through a high resolution spectroscope, there are a few bunches of lines. Instead of single line, there is a bunch of line. So Bohr failed to explain this splitting of line spectra. This is the limitation to Bohr's model. So uh, the next scientist, let us see, Sommerfeld. He continued the experiments to the Bohr's model of atom. What he concluded, let us see. The next one, it is Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom. Sommerfeld, he just extended the Bohr model of atom. Sommerfeld modified Bohr's atomic model by adding elliptical orbits while retaining the first orbit of Bohr's circular orbit as such. Observe here, he does not change the Bohr model, that means the first orbit it as such, he does not change anything, but he added an elliptical orbit to his second orbit and two elliptical orbits to the third orbit and fourth to the fourth orbit. See here, like this he added a elliptical orbits to the Bohr's circular orbit, where n is equal to 1 and l is equal to 0, n is equal to l values are 0, 1 and 0, 1, 2, 3. All these are quantum numbers. In detail we will I will explain you in the next class. Just remember that Sommerfeld modified the Bohr's model, and the nucleus of the atom is one of the principal foci of these elliptical orbits, but he does not change the nuclei. Here, even though he succeeded in explaining the splitting of the line spectra, because Bohr he could not explain why the line spectra is splitted, but Sommerfeld added these elliptical paths and explained what is the reason behind the splitting of line spectra. But even though this Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom also having the limitation, it is also failed because it only explained the reason behind the splitting of line spectra of hydrogen atom, not the other atoms. So it is failed to account for the atomic spectra of atoms of more than one electron. So next, what is the proposed and accepted form of atom? Let us explain and let us discuss about those in next class. This is for today. Read the textbook. Thank you so much.